ballast bag.
Okay.
So there's the brain fart trimmers that we're talking about.
Okay.
So I'm setting it at neutral right now for launch. I'm going to get you to face down the hill.
Okay.
Turn up and just stand there. Raise your arms a little bit so I can clip you in. What? The good thing about paragliding is you can see the actual connection points. Especially when you're doing forward, you know you're connected in. Perfect. You're comfortable. I'm just going to sort the lines there. Okay, I'm going to get you to move forward slightly just until we have tension in the lines.
Okay.
Keep moving. Right there. That's good. That little pull that you're getting from me?
Yep.
Perfect. So find your spot. We're actually going to run a little to the left of where we were talking about.
Okay, so...
See that clear cut in the cut up there?
Yep.
Yeah, that's where we're going to run there.
Okay, so look at that.
Yep. Anywhere up in that range. Whatever's comfortable. Again, just not your feet or the wing.
Okay.
Again, nice solid run as hard as you can, but controlled.
Okay.
Watch your feet. And keep running and keep your feet down and ready to run until we're clear of the hill.
Okay. Thanks for bringing me up here.
No problem. Thanks for coming.
Okay.
Everything's feeling really good. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, run. There's the pull. Run, run, run. Run, 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 run. That's good. Clear. Okay. Look at your bum, get your knees back. Perfect. Beautiful. You bum right to the back. It doesn't look like it's right to the back yet. There you go. Look for that seat board edge if you can find it. You can hook your fingers in here and push. There's a little clip. Wiggle, wiggle.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Now you're comfy. Sweet. Congratulations.
Yeah, dude.
A little bit of lift right there.
Yeah. You don't see it's on you?
Not with me
No.
today, no.
Okay.
I find all the beeping can be annoying for some people.
Yeah.
Is your camera on? It is. Okay.
Yeah, camera's on. Yeah, turn it on. Because then you
There's our field that we were at earlier. You can see the wing flies itself. You don't really have to, in fairly calm conditions. There's two ways to control the glider. There's the pull.
Yeah.
There's also the lean. So if you lean hard to the right now, the wing will respond with the right. If we lean hard to the left, the wing will respond to the left.
So cool.
There's our lower launch that I was talking about earlier.
Okay.
Now what I'm looking for is I'm looking for thermic triggers and thermal markers. This little rock here can pick up heat faster than the trees around it, so you can quite often get a little lift along here. Plus the wind's pushing up warm air here, and you get kind of a ridge soaring thing that happens as the warm air comes up the slope.
Okay. I can feel bump.
It's a little bit of a bump. It's a little bit of turbulence. Sometimes it's turbulence and sometimes it's lift. So on a really strong day, I've been here and I've had up to 12 meters per second lift.
Wow.
That's about 40 kilometers an hour straight up. Feels like somebody grabbing you by the guts and pulling.
So when you want to initiate lift, do you or?
You can control a little bit of the ascent and descent rate by pulling the brakes. There's a minimum sink, which is just a little bit of brake.
Yeah.
There's trim, which is full up. So full up, that's trim right there.
Yeah.
See, we're going a little faster.
Yeah.
If I bring it down to minimum sink, then also we're going to slow down a little bit and also rise a little bit. There's that lift over the rock that I was telling you about, like clockwork.
Cool.
It's pretty small though. We'll try to see if we can stay in it for a second. As you can see, the wings are fairly maneuverable.
Oh yeah.
This is what we call tree kicking at this time of day. So we're basically literally kicking treetops. As long as it's fairly laminar and smooth, it's fine to do. If it's more bumpy, you obviously give more terrain more room. Seems to not be working here yet, so we're going to go over what I call the South Knoll over here. Over launch. There's stuff over launch. First place to work is usually this ridge over here. So
windsocks on there are coming back
a little bit from the southwest. Yeah. Again, there's a little bit of lift there, but not much. It's really small. As we were saying, stable earlier in the day right now. I was hoping for it to be a little bit less stable today. It was good yesterday. Unfortunately, we get stronger winds here in the afternoon, so it can be too strong for tandems in the afternoons.
Okay. But for season pilot,
for a season pilot, it's still fine. Yeah.
So do you prefer more turbulent conditions, or?
Well, I like cross country, and generally the stuff that's good for cross country is stronger conditions.
Okay.
It's all about getting up and getting away. Although there's something to be said about a beautiful, nice, smooth sunset flight as well, where you just kind of float out, enjoy the flight for as long as it lasts. It's really enjoyable as well. You can have both too. You can go cross country, then as it cools off late in the afternoon, you get into what we call a glass off situation,
Okay.
where the air in the valley all rises at once. As the katabatic winds kick in down the sides,
Yeah.
all the stuff in the middle of the valley rises. So it's just this beautiful, light, buoyant air that we get late in the summer. I've chased bears through the woods here sometimes. Mountain goats. There's a little bit of lift.
Yeah. I guess coming over the ridge.
Yeah, I'm gonna go keep going down to the South Knoll here. That's it. Whatever's facing best into the sun will usually get the most heat.
Okay.
And that's what we're looking for. I live on that little rock pile directly in front of us over there.
Okay.
First house is directly in front of us?
Yeah.
That's where my house is. It's actually the launch road there. So I've got a landing field over there, so I can literally land in my backyard. So I always wanted to be able to land in my own backyard. Oh, I gotta get the WD-40 out for this pulley. Sweet little thing. Yeah, I get a loop on this one. The great thing is in this sport, when you go cross country, any field's landable, right? So you look down there and all I see is little landing zones.
Yeah.
Tons of them. So they're not usually too scary to travel, except for when you go across the mountains. When you go across the mountains, there can be very little. I've had friends that have flown from here as far as, I've done 187 kilometers in this valley.
Wow.
Double out and back. So I've flown down to the far end of Lillooet Lake, then all the way up to the Lillooet Glacier the other direction.
Huh.
I've had friends that have flown out past Cache Creek from here. I've had friends that have both flown from here to Chilliwack and from Chilliwack to here.
So, in one day, just one.
Yep.
So,
For about 4 hours. It's not that long of a flight, actually.
Okay. So when you flew 187 kilometers, how long did that take?
Sorry?
When you flew your 187 kilometers?
That was about 7.5 hours.
Okay.
So they call this Pud Point right here that we're flying over.
Okay.
I remember flying over and there was somebody naked sunbathing at the top of the rocks. They had the place to themselves. All of a sudden, all of us were hooting and hollering above us.
So the radio or up top? Who's on the other side of the radio?
Every pilot has a radio,
Oh, okay.
as well as Ricardo. So once I land, I can communicate. Or if we get into trouble for some reason, we have communications. Some spots here that don't have phone service, so we want to be in communication as best as possible. You can feel a little bit of the turbulence from the thermal there.
Oh yeah.
We're just basically kind of maintaining over this spot here. It's not a great thermal. But what you do is you sit in this, when you're doing cross country and competition, you find one of these little thermal spots and you sit and wait until it goes off. Actually, the stuff goes off, gets higher and higher, and away you go. feeling any nausea at all, let me know, because I can fly straight whenever I need to. Some people that aren't used to the motion.
No, I'm really super chill.
It's really benign. It can be all on a D-glider when you're flying really strong conditions and 10 meter per second thermals, but this is really benign. You can see a little bit big out in front of us there, just disappearing behind the rock.
These are the ocean handles?
So, yep. Everything. You can hold on to anything you need to. Yeah. The thermal right there.
Oh, yeah.
Just trying to stay in it for a minute here. We have one fan in the valley that doesn't like us right there.
Okay. Yeah,
Go
there's
away.
always one. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, bugger.
Somebody tells me he's an old Nazi apparently. And he says, I can't stand listening to you guys hooting and hollering when I'm working my fingers to the bone. We won't land there.
We're gonna land. I'm gonna land on his go away side. How about that?
Cross-country pilots actually wear condom catheters for long flights. That's how you pee.
Oh wow.
Women will actually wear diapers.
Yeah, that's something I hadn't thought of.
I'm lucky I have a bladder like a camel. So I not that much. I've flown up to 8 or 9 hours and not have to pee. Woo, little edge.
Nice.
So when you think of a thermal, it's basically a mushroom cloud. If you think of a thermonuclear explosion, that's a thermal. It's just a really extreme thermal. So the thermal has a core in the middle, which is right there. Yeah, that's the core.
Gotcha.
There's the edge of it, and
then
on
you
the
get out of
outside it actually flows down.
Okay.
So that's the turbulence that you're getting. So sometimes it'll push your wing tip down a little bit. You get a little collapse and stuff like that on the edge of a thermal. But again, as you notice, the wing, you can hear the pulleys pulling. That's being stabilized in the wing constantly. That's that active flying that we're talking about. So I'm always keeping the pressure even in the wing. I'm hoping to get a little altitude here with you so I can give you the chops for a bit. Right now we're just kind of maintaining. I got hopes.
I got it.
If not, you can come back for more. So,
Oh yeah.
as I said, the tandem goes towards any courses you take, so that money comes off, of course. Because it's important to have a tandem, anyways. It's just there's so much in-air learning.
Well, that's skydive. And I did it the wrong way. I do a tandem.
It's always good. It's always good for sure.
It's stress-free. You're doing all the and I get to learn.
Precisely.
Yeah.
That's what the important part is. The important part is to get enough information to your brain before you kill yourself. You can quote me on that.
I like that.
Not much yet. More degrees down the valley. Once that goes, it starts really moving. Everything starts lifting.
Every time we come back, walk or over there, that's where the thermal starts. Yeah.
Rocks are the best for thermals, so any place with exposed rock, you're going to get way more lifting around. Think of it almost as a hot spot until the bubbles start first. There it is. And once you get tuned to it, you can also tell which side the thermal's on by which way the wing pitches. So if the wing pitches to the right, the wing tip on the left goes up higher, the thermal's on your left. You got it.
Yeah.
You know this shit. I'm never gonna have any problem trucking you off a cliff right away. You know it all. Okay, go show me what you know. Here you go.
License to kill. You're gaining a little bit because
Yeah, we're almost to the top of that knob.
Yeah.
Might have to go hunting someplace else.
Yeah.
This one just needs to be kind of stable. I also want to give you a little bit of acro, so you can see a little bit of small stuff. Give you a little idea of what it can do, a little feel of G-force on it. Because I know you like the excitement if you're doing that base jump shit.
That's like concentrated.
I'm not an adrenaline junkie, but you get a lot of adrenaline on a cross-country flight. You're exhausted after a long flight.
Oh, I bet.
You're constantly thinking and calculating and maneuvering, and your arms get tired from being over your head all day.
Have you done any paramotor?
No,
Yeah.
my whole thing about this sport is to get away from the frickin' motor.
Kind of what I thought too.
So, yeah, some people love the motor. And it's great because you can fly anytime then, right? As long as you have an open field, you can fly.
Yeah, and you can ground launch from your
From
landing
a
area.
beach or from any field, yeah, which is nice.
My thought with like the ultralight is I'd like to, because I spend time in quite windy.
Yeah.
And there is no launch area, and you got to go find them. And I thought that might be the ultimate solution.
Yeah, it depends on the strength of the wind. Obviously, you don't want to fly in a place that's got stronger than about 30, 35 km/h of wind.
Yeah. But it's
even with a motor, because even with the motor, the wind can only fly at a certain speed, right? So.
Yeah. Then you're going backwards.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's not fun, especially when it's like an 80-pound thing stuck to your back.
You bet.
Backwards a couple times.
Ooh.
Only once with the tandem.
So if you let's say you're getting really strong forward wind, do you trim your ears down to
We can do what's called big ears,
Okay.
which increases our descent speed rate, but doesn't really increase our speed. The only thing that increases my speed is my trimmers.
Okay.
Put the trimmers all the way out. The top speed on this is only going to trim speed's about 35. Top speed on this one's only around 45, 47 kilometers an hour. So it's pretty slow because it's big. Lots of drag. My personal glider has its top speed around 67, 68. We're rising a little bit here. It's just hard to stay in it because it's not that big. It's drifting on me.
It's so cool because you get a different perspective. Like you can see little trails and stuff going up. And
Yeah. Oh, I see bikers up here. You wave at them all the time. It's very social. Hi.
Oh.
I was thinking about going and talking to that guy with the go away sign. His problem. Let's see if I can. I'm part of the local club as well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see if I can slip. But I'm told by locals that it's probably just best to leave it alone. Here it's not so bad. In the States you can be met with a gun.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. A little more crazy, I think. There's another one. He's up quite high already.
Where are we? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You got to thermal off a launch right away.
Yeah. Like it's you can feel since we launched there's already a little bit more. I don't know if it feels like that.
Just hanging out. If you have no place to go in a hurry, then we're good.
Yeah.
I gotta give Ricardo at least 40 minutes to get down to the LZ, so might as well enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
I find a lot of people after about 30 minutes, some people that aren't used to it start getting a little nauseous from the movement.
Okay.
But I'm taking you're probably going to be fine.
I'm okay. Yeah.
Well, you're used to it. You're more used to the flying, right? So you're used to it. A little bit different than your ear, but
I sail.
oh, I used to love sailing when I was younger. I used to sail. I used to live in Victoria. I used to go out to the Galliano and Salt Spring.
Okay. Yeah.
Friday Harbor.
Yeah. Did you ever get up to Desolation?
No, unfortunately not. I've been on a boat out there, but I've never taken a boat. So when we're flying close to terrain, we always turn away from terrain.
Okay.
You'll never see me turning towards it. I might, as I get more comfortable, I might do it, but I would never recommend a beginner pilot that doesn't know what their wing is capable of. Because if you take a collapse as you're turning into terrain,
Yeah,
you're gonna end up on the ground. Soaring the slope, a little bit warm air floating up here, so we're maintaining. Best description I ever had for how thermals work is you can imagine yourself with a giant god hose of honey. So you have this giant fire hose that you could spray everything down with honey. You spray it out over all the terrain, you flip the terrain upside down, and wherever the honey drips off, that's where you should find thermals as well.
Okay.
So it runs up ridge lines, off the points of mountains and ridges and
That's a really
tree lines
way,
and stuff like that. So this little knob is usually really good. We're trying to connect with something that's a little bit bigger than we've had so far. I used to land on that sandbar down by the river there too on our left.
Oh yeah.
Used to be a really nice spot. So it's really high water right now, so there's not much there. But skinny, called bullet thermals, which are so skinny you can't stay in them. Sometimes they'll cluster together, where you get different cores going different speeds in a little cluster. Usually the strongest one is upwind, and then the smaller ones form behind it. So you learn by how the turbulence is. Usually if you get turbulence that feels like lift, you turn into wind.
Okay.
To try to find the stronger thermal upwind. So there's all sorts of different techniques. Thermals will form thermal lines. So because of the thermal in the front, the wind flows around it and then hits behind it and triggers on the airframe, so you get these little lines of thermals.
So you're just talking thermals in general, not necessarily something off a ridge or
yeah, exactly. Just general thermals,
okay.
yeah. And of course, you're looking at much different. There's flatland flying and then there's valley flying like this. So flatland flying, they are much more textbook. You know, they generate at certain angles and they lean certain ways. With valley winds and stuff like that, it's different. You have different conditions that will make the thermal act differently. It'll trickle up a hillside versus flow straight up. So it'll cling. It likes to cling. It's water. It's the same as liquid, so it likes to cling just like water would on a when you're in the shower and you run your finger along the curtain rod.
Yep.
And drop off all those. It's basically the same thing here. He's trying to store in the same thing. He's got a little bit more experience.
A few more hours.
You both got to fly to eat, though.
Dude, those things I've done. Period. I really like it.
Thermal? Yeah, go back and get up a little bit. Our landing field's right across the river there. That kind of bushy field, there's nice grass strip right up the trees.
Yeah, that's sort of
There's a beautiful grass strip right over the trees. That's where average out. There's a couple different spots here with thermals. I'm just trying to average them out rather than churn and lose all the air on the plane. And actually make the flight last longer. getting a lot. Okay, so I'm going to talk about landing while I'm just cruising here in the little bits of lift we have. So we're going to come into land into wind just like an airplane does.
Sure.
I'm going to come in, I'm going to do some turns, I'm going to come swoop in and come in fairly fast. Same thing you guys do to come into land.
Yeah.
And then I'll flare big and slow us right down. We just, depending on if we have any wind or not, it'll be either a couple steps or it might be a little bit of a run. If for some reason you lose your footing, roll to the side, and I'll do the same just so I don't land on top of you. I'll ask you to stand up just before we land as well.
Okay.
Same position as you were just launching.
Okay, so push forward in the chair.
Yeah, push forward, bring your arms out around the rise. I have people with bad legs, I'll land them on their butt. Yep, just bring your arms and elbows up over that riser in the front of you there. So just like that. Again, I'm not giving up yet.
Okay.
Still trying. Go for a big release. I've had to scratch for like, that's where I scratch for hours. And then all of a sudden it just goes off and boom, up you go. I've had friends that have launched off the upper, they come down to this area, you can't see this area from launch.
Yeah.
And we think, oh, it's not working yet, not working yet. All of a sudden you see them start rising. It's like, oh, it's on again, here we go. And everybody scurries off like a bunch of lemmings. It's working. This big boat isn't the most efficient.
No, I guess not. Still doing pretty good.
Been very dependable there. Old Faithful. There we go. Old Faithful Ellie.
Old Faithful Ellie.
OFE.
Magnum.
She called her Lily because she could be OFL, awful. Just kind of maintaining here. That little thermal there. This wing's a lot different than the solo wing. Yeah, so it's not as efficient, but it's also just, it lifts differently and maneuvers differently. It pours air off the wing differently, so you have to still get used to it again. My first time. I'm pretty good with my active flying. It's a sign of a good pilot not having those types of classes.
Okay.
Even when there's a bit of turbulence. If you're being sloppy, you'll get the tips. That's your warning that you're not active flying enough. One more pass here. Now we're gonna go out and see if I can get a little wing over action.
Alright.
I can't tell if we're gaining or not here. I feel like we're getting some, but I don't know if we're gaining.
A tiny bit.
We're maintaining.
Almost at the top of the
Ridge,
line
yeah.
with the top of the ridge,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure thing, and it wasn't a sure thing. Just gotta get more. Trees here, see if I can connect with it. And turn in it. It's always better to turn and lift. Go through it and turn afterwards. Exactly. Hi, trees. When you get better at it, you can also take the glider and land up on launch again. Take off and land. It's called top landing. That's the big issue here is people go up and it's great to go up to upper launch, but if you can't get your truck down, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, because you need a ride.
Yeah.
Or it's a long walk.
That's why I offer a shuttle. Climbing. Definitely doing better than we were.
Nice.
I can tell when Ricardo arrives because I can see where he parks. There we go. Just taking it a foot at a time here. Slowly climbing this face, so the thermal lasts for long enough. The higher we get, the more acro we can do.
Yes. I'm really enjoying the gliding part. We just don't get to do a lot of that.
Well, and it's nice close to train, and it's not a dangerous, like a highly adrenaline racing down the side of it thing either.
No.
It's nice and kind of pleasant, and
It's kind of
as I said, kicking treetops, chasing bears, and
You got a little flying too, like that's really cool.
and it's fun when you're in a little thermal together with 3 or 4 wings. You're sitting there laughing and chuckling and yelling insults across at each other. And our favorite thing to say, "Hey, your wing looks great from above," because we're higher than they are.
So let's say you're all in a thermal. You all have to do a right-hand turn.
It's whoever gets in the thermal first sets the direction.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Unless it's like a competition, they'll have left turn and right hand turn days.
Okay.
Which is anything within 5 kilometers of launch is under that rule.
Okay. Yeah, just to prevent.
Just to keep it, just to keep it polite and friendly.
Yeah, there you go.
Stock now. Still climbing. I'm gonna keep working it until it's really a patience game. Sometimes you have to ride these little shitty ones, the bigger ones. I mean, this is where the skill is. For cross-country flying, scratching is where the skill is. Because that's what keeps you alive and keeps you going.
I like it.
Anybody can ride a giant thermal. A dandelion. A leaf can ride the thermal. A plastic bag can do that.
Scratching the lift, that's skill. That takes skill.
Yeah. Still going up. That's good. Let's go see if our little thermal over here on the point is still here. That's the bad thing. Boredom, which is, let's go check this out over here, and that's what gets you in trouble. What's around the corner?
Like you were doing fine where you were, and then you had to go bugger it up. So made a milkshake over there.
That nudist in it.
Nudie rocks.
Call it nudie point. A little campfire down there, too. It's an easy hike up here. Some people will actually hike up from launch. They go across the bridge over there, the train trestle, and hike up to lower. They can fly. No need to go up to launch. You can go to launch at lower and fly to upper launch if you want on a good day. It's just that if you're not good at finding the thermals, you got a few more tries. Yeah, not a place to land.
Every once in a while you can feel like a little puff of warm air.
Yeah, that's the thermal. You also get other signs of thermals. This time of year, the pine trees are pollinating.
Oh yeah.
So in a good thermal, they'll actually get shooken, and you'll see a big fluff of yellow dust get sucked up. That's a really good sign. Fluff from cottonwood trees. And if you're flying in Mexico, garbage bags. There's a thermal.
So, where all have you flown your paragliders?
I've flown in Australia, South America, and several Brazil,
Yep.
Colombia, which I was just in, Costa Rica, Cuba, Mexico, lots of Mexico, US, Canada, Australia, Thailand. Where else am I missing here? Africa, Tanzania.
Yeah. Africa.
Yeah. Oh, I want to go back to Tanzania. That was a dream trip. It was like flying in Jurassic Park. We flew off a live volcano. We had Maasai warriors carrying our gear up for us. It was just cool. We stayed at this camp. It was on a salt lake. There's a freshwater spring on the shoreline.
Yep.
And you can sit in a pool and have a giraffe come up and drink out of the pool you're sitting in. It's just amazing. Thankfully, no crocodiles. Come on, give me a little bit bigger thermal. I want to go up. As you can say, even if it doesn't get better, you can stay here forever if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
It gets a little boring after a while.
But you like, with the sun warming up stuff, you know, like
It should increase. It should increase.
Yeah.
But it also changes. So sometimes it'll get lighter lower down, and it'll get stronger higher up.
Okay.
There's no rhyme or reason necessarily. It can be hard to figure out. Oh, there's a little bit. Fell out of it. Touch there.
So this bare patch. How this are gonna be, and where they, you know.
Lost some ground again, unfortunately. Our thermal didn't last. Well, we're gonna go out over the field here.
Okay.
Never want to land in water, especially moving water, because of course the wing will get caught up in it, drag you under. So always better to land in the trees than in the water. On a lake, it's fine to land on a lake. There's no shore, you just land close to the shore. Never in the water. I'm looking at my windsock, seeing the wind direction. It's coming from that direction.
Yeah,
Coming
it's-
across the field. So we're going to land going down that way.
Okay.
We're going to approach over the field, over the houses over here.
Okay. You go the wind pattern over the field and then move back.
Yeah, I come out here and check the
or-
wind.
Yeah.
Gonna see if I can do a wing over or two just to give you a little fun. Yeah. Can't leave too much because we don't have a lot of room. Okay, so we're gonna start going to the left. Right. You can go right over the wing. That's why they call it a wing over. Big one. These spirals too. You can get up to 4 or 5 feet. Trimmers in. Increase the wind. elbows out over the risers, but not stand up yet.
That's where you're gonna.
It's always to land in the first field, preferably, rather than the last. If you land in the last third, lift.
Is that a fence line on the?
There's a little bit. There's some posts, but no actual fence. Okay, I'm gonna get you to stand up. Again, just run and stay in front of me.
Okay. How much further do you want?
That's good.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm hanging too.
Okay. Sweet.
Again, just watch your feet.
Almost no wind.
Yeah, which means you're going to have a little bit of forward momentum. You're going to have to run a little bit for sure.
No problem.
He's got lots of runway. Swoop. Clearing. Awesome. Good job. No wind. Look at that. Perfect. Good job, man.
Thanks, man.
Sorry I didn't give you a chance with the toggles, but
Don't worry.
No.
No. I got a feeling. Short video and upload still off the
Sure. Woohoo! Successful first paragliding flight for
Yeah.
this gentleman,
Thank you.
and first one of the season.
Yeah.
So thank you.